Hi everyone, I'm Sarah of Childhood Finds, and thank you for joining me for part 2 of this What Sold. I do have my really big sale in this one that I'm excited to share with you, and lots of other sales. If you haven't watched part 1, I will link that down in the description for you so you can go check it out. But I'm going to go ahead and get started, and let's get rumbling. Okay, so this first one is super nostalgic for me. I definitely had one of these when I was young, and they are just obnoxious little creatures, and I feel bad that my parents put up with this thing. But it is a vintage 1994 Erdl Jibba Jabba Jibber Jabber blue hair, and I paid $2 for him at a thrift store, and the next week I went back and actually found the girl version that I had when I was younger, also for $2, and he sold for the $26.36 discount. He's just fun. He's, you can't help but love the stuff that you had when you were young. This one makes me smile because I remember my mother-in-law, after I picked this up, she's like, I didn't know if you'd want to buy that, but if I can flip it. This is a Rinseworks Aquas 360 Bidet handheld sprayer, and it sold for $37. It was brand new. I bought it for $1. So, man, it was great. It was a great little profit. It was just, yeah, I'll pretty much sell anything that isn't nailed down, like I always say. This is a CSB Tony Evans Study Bible Black Leather Holman from 2019. This one, I took a best offer, finally of $35. I probably had it just listed too high. It took quite a long time to sell. I did have it during my free shipping, so, it's like 30 plus shipping, so it was still a good sale. I probably paid $1 or $2 for this. I don't remember where it came from, but I wouldn't have paid more. I definitely wouldn't have paid more than $5. I'm a cheap human, but it was probably $1 or $2. This is a Sony SR, I don't have to read that to you. It's a Sony portable Bluetooth speaker, and I was able to test it. I bought it at an estate sale where it was just kind of a fill the box the best you can, and we'll make a price, and that was an awesome sale. I got a lot of amazing stuff there, especially a lot of electronics. And I just took a best offer of $60 just to get it moving. Could have got a little more. It's fine. Buyer's happy. And it sold quickly. I probably have $1 into it, and I was able to completely test it even without its original cord. It was just a micro USB. So anytime you can test it, do so. I typically try to take a video, but I didn't for this one, but I do suggest you try to take a video of it because I did fully make sure it was working, and the buyer is happy with it. But that always is a slightly higher risk when it comes to electronics, with having a little more trouble with buyers saying things aren't working. So just make sure you test all you can and you're just open and honest about it. This is some My Little Ponies, because My Little Ponies, I can't help it. This is Generation 3 Sea Spray and Beach Berry. It's a lot of 2. This I've mentioned before. Again, if you have different items like this, or you buy a lot of toys and you have ones that might go with others, I just go and try to find ones that are still new in package so I can see what they came with originally, so that I can make sure I've got the right pieces and I can lot together items that will go well together instead of just making a here it is lot. This is a good lot. And it sold for full asking on the discount for $21.96, and I have about $1 into these guys. And I've had all these ponies listed for less than 3 months. This is a vintage 1982 Commonwealth Miss PacMan plush hand puppet. It's very small. I put see all pics because there was some slight scratching on the eyeballs. So that's why I don't put new, because yes, it has the tag, but this isn't new condition. I mean, the tag's bent up. There's scratching on the eyes. So I just always put that it's used. And that's because to me, it kind of still is. But it was still in good condition, and I just showed all the pictures of it, and I believe it was sold for $18, and I have maybe 50 cents into this guy. This is Canon Comb Spun Perkle Lilac Pillowcase Set. It was all new and sealed for the most part. Some seal was coming off, but it was in really nice condition, very pretty coloring. I took a best offer for $15 for this and was happy to ship it off. I probably have about $1 into them. But I shared in my last video the vintage bedding. I definitely will pick it up if it's affordable. People love this, and it's nostalgic just like toys can be as well. And it's also can be aesthetics that people like even if they didn't grow up with these items. This one makes me smile too because of the buyer messaging me. But this is a lot of 2 Fisher-Price Kermit the Frog plushes. And I put as is because my Kermit over here, he's got some pieces to him that you can see his tongue. It's seen some stuff and just kind of worn away there some. And there was some scratching on eyeballs that I showed as well. But I ended up just lotting these 2 guys together. They're about from the same time range. And a buyer reached out after they purchased and they sent best offer for $30. I very happily took that and just said that her child had the inspector one when he was young and she wanted to surprise him. And that's the best. I mean, the absolute best when you get to be a part of that story. And so I think I paid up for these guys. I paid about $7.50 for both of them, but still sold quickly. Maybe a month or so, if that. Less than that, I think maybe a week. Yeah, because these sat near my pile I needed to be listed for a long time, so that's why I think they were listed longer, but they weren't. This is these pictures are so nice when I do clothing, aren't they? This is a Wisconsin Badger sweatshirt men's Bucky backer sweater. It was in size extra large. I do believe it was made in USA. And it was in nice condition, and I paid $1 for this at a church rummage sale. This was a super cool church rummage sale. We ended up not getting that much when we went to it, but it was exciting because they didn't advertise it at all. They just happened to put signs out at 8 a.m. when we were driving by, so we were the only ones there the whole time, I think. So we got a few things there, but not as much as I would have, hoped for a church rummage sale. But it was still fun to be the only ones shopping. But this sold pretty quickly for $22, I believe, is the best offer that I took, if I didn't already say that. This sale. Okay, I'm going to bear all here, guys. I'm going to be totally frank. This one shook me because I was so surprised by it. So let me talk about it first. It's an antique Zion's Glad Songs 1908 McPhail Jehovah's Witness Watchtower Bible, so it's associated with those things. So McPhail was a pilgrim of that in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and he has a few different pieces he put together, and this one sold for a best offer of $855 very, very quickly. This was sitting in my desk pile for months. I bought this at a rummage sale for $1. And I remember buying it there. I remember seeing it in my hands. And then just sat there in a pile. And since I'm moving, I was like, I've got to put this pile in a box to move it. And I just happened to look this one up. Okay, I shouldn't say this. I had to dust dog hair off of this, guys. I mean, this was just $855 sitting there, buried under stuff. So this is just, you should probably keep an eye on your death pile. Check the things in there periodically. Check what money you're leaving there. And it was just, it doesn't look like a super valuable piece. But once I started researching, I could see the history behind it and why it was valuable. But I was impressed. And I will say this, when I looked on Terapeak, 2 of them had gone for less than $40. One had gone for $20, one had gone for $40. I priced mine very high because it was in better condition than the other 2 high ones that had sold, but this is also a PSA to please check Terapeak, because I did notice the one that sold for $40, someone's resold that on auction for $500 because I could tell it was the exact same book. So do keep that in mind, that you definitely want to check sometimes back further than 90 days if you can't find something. This is an Oakland Athletic A's 1989 World Champion Snapback hat, sports specialties. I still don't know a ton about hats, but I know the sports specialties is a thing. And this sold on the discount for $39.56. This was in pretty good condition. And I have 8 cents into this hat, like many of my other hats I've been showing you recently after a little bulk buy. But it sold quickly, maybe a couple weeks, if that. This was another one of the things my mother-in-law picked up, and I did the whole, like, what are you doing? You're wasting our $2. This is a tailor pocket size style compass, vintage silver tone. See, obviously I didn't describe it amazingly, but I put CL photos because it did have some condition issues on the outside, but it was working otherwise. But it sold for the discount price of $39.56. I could have got a little more for this, but I put it on the discount and the buyer took advantage of that. So good on them. And yeah, we paid $2 for this, and I didn't really know compasses could sell well. So that's why I'm an everything seller, because I get to learn something every single day. This is a vintage cast iron horse standing doorstop. And it was about 5 inches, so not really big, and about 2 pounds. I ended up taking a best offer for $20, and I bought this at a thrift store for $3. I was still so surprised this was only $3 at the thrift store I found it at. I just remember being surprised in the store, but $20 wasn't bad for it. I was hoping for a little bit more, but $20's good. This is a lot of 2 vintage brass colored metal, ornate floral, iris bow, easel frame, oval, all the words. I ended up just taking a best offer of $15 to get them out. I bought a lot of 3 of these little frames for $1 total, so I have 66 cents into these, so I was happy with the 15. They are very petite. I can show you here. Very petite here. And these are not the antique ones, so if you find the actual antique, whoops, what have I done? Chaos. If you find the actual antique ones, those definitely sell for more money. These, I believe these were the reproductions, and they got popular in the 70s. My mother-in-law will tell me if I made an error in that, but that's what I do believe. There were a lot of reproductions of these, but they're still, people are still looking for these. So $15 is still great for me because they were teensy tiny and easy to pack. This is a Bell Service Hotel Counter Desk Brass bell. I'm not going to say all the rest of the words. I paid way too much for this one, but these are popular. I've sold another one for more, and I think that one kind of clouded my judgment when I was purchasing because that one sold so fast and for more money, but it was also better. And this sold for $16.49. I paid $5 for it, so I'm still making money. So I'm not going to complain too much, even though I've already complained. But these do sell well that I have found. This is vintage Pillsbury Playthings Poppin' Doughboy and Pop It Fresh. This is sealed, but it's seen better days. So there's quite a few holes in the seal, and the top is icky. So I cleaned off a lot of it, but then I just got to this point. I'll show you. I just went, cleaning's left to the buyer. I am basically done with this. That's what I do because I don't want to mess it up in any way. I don't want to risk water getting into the box, and I want the buyer to do what they want to do with this item and clean it how they see fit. So I took a best offer of $26 for this. I paid $2 for this at a yard sale, and cute, adorable. This is a Gun Teddy Bear plush from 1987, and it did still have its tag, and its name was Buffy. And it sold for the asking price of $30.76. I believe I paid $3 for this guy. And the reason I put Reed is I did just include that the nose has cracking on it. So just be upfront with buyers that what's going on with items, and the person still bought this, and it took a few months to sell, but still found the right buyer even though it wasn't perfect. This one's super cute. This is Hasbro Boo in Monster Costume Doll Disney Monsters Inc. from 2001. I have 50 cents into this guy, and just very cute. And it did sell for the $21.71. And this sold quickly, so a couple weeks, if that. This piece we paid a little bit too much for, but we still made a good profit on it. So even though sometimes we pay up, we learn something and we still make money, and that's kind of the bigger picture stuff that'll help you grow. And it's a vintage Tiffany & Co. handcrafted pewter trinket box. And I just put read description. I just included that there's lots of scratching. It is not in perfect condition. This does not look like it came out of the box yesterday. So I just showed that and showed a ton of pictures of it. And I can just show you on the bottom where it says it. And there it is. Tiffany & Co. handcrafted pewter. And $21, we paid $7 for it if I didn't already say that. So still made good money on it. This, I'm going to preface again, no, we're not talking about politics. I'm just showing you this hat sells. I ended up taking a best offer of $26 for this one. I sold another previously that was slightly different style that's more desirable, and that one sold for more. So I just ended up taking $26 for this. I have 8 cents into it, so, you know. Money is money. And this is a Donald Trump official Cali Fame Make America Great Again red snapback hat. Again, no politics here. We're not doing politics. This is just a sense of I made money off of it. And it does sell. So if you look for the Cali Fame, let me bring that up. And these are made in USA as well. That's what you should look for, because I've sold one other like this that I paid 50 cents for into 40. So they sell really quickly. This was a couple weeks, if that. This is me starting to dabble into shoes. My rule is they've got to be clean. I've broken that rule already a few times, but there's things you don't want to do as a reseller, and I will clean an $8 plush, no problem. But you tell me to clean a pair of shoes, and ugh, I don't want to do that. This is a men's, I don't like feet. You guys don't need to know that, but you do now. But this is a men's Army olive deep green Converse high top. They were size 12, which is a desirable size. And I just included the code, so it was easy to find for people that were possibly looking for a very specific pair. And they were in very nice condition. I mean, they looked like they had pretty much never been worn, which I do believe. I bought 3 or 4 of these at a yard sale. I think 4. And I think I have $7.50 into each of them. So I paid up for these, and that's not bad. I took a best offer of $26, so I'm still making a profit. I did pay up for them for sure. But they were in really good condition and they sold quickly. So sometimes that'll counteract if I'm willing to pay up. And when I say pay up, I know it doesn't sound like a lot sometimes, but I'm cheap human. I can't help it. This is vintage Leonard Silver Mallard Duck Head Bookends. So I talked about in the last one that I bought, I think it was a lot of 3 brass bookends, and I paid $7.50 each, which was way too much than I would usually pay. And so this was one of those I paid $7.50 for. So I'm making a little bit of money, but the other 2 luckily are worth more. So it made up for my slight blunder on these ones. But they were in good condition. They were just absolutely nothing special. So $20 on Poshmark. Again, that flat rate shipping definitely helps sell them on Poshmark, because I had these listed for less on eBay for a longer period of time and they didn't sell. This is a Steven Universe 11-inch garnet plush Cartoon Network, and it did have the tag. I bought this in the same place I bought Boo, and I paid 50 cents for it. And it sold for $22 and just took maybe under a month to sell. And it's just in nice condition. I can't say I've ever watched this, but I did recognize it. So it's good just to be able to recognize stuff that might be, desirable. And this is an Oakland Athletics 1988 World Series baseball hat. Sold for $21 on Mercari. I have found hats, so toys tend to do the best for me on Mercari, and my hats are doing pretty well on Mercari as well. So that's another avenue. I will be honest, I pretty much now will not list any items over £1 on Mercari, just because of the shipping rates. I don't want to play with free shipping. I don't want to do any of that. I like to ship postal service, so it's expensive. So when you get into more than a pound, but I have really enjoyed under the pounds. That's going really well for me there. And that's all of them for this one. So thank you for joining me. I'm gonna try to get a couple more videos out, but I might be a little quieter because I've got to move my store and reset it back up. So anybody that's been through that knows it's an adventure. So I'll see you guys on the next one.